In ancient times in our land, all the lands had no poisonous or non-poisonous snakes, only rattlesnakes. There is a story that goes, in the past there were two people, a husband and wife. The wife was named Neang Ni and had a daughter named Neang Et. The husband went to sell beads and disappeared for a long time. One day all the neighbors asked each other to go find firewood. When Neang Ni heard that they were asking each other, she went with them, taking Neang Et as her daughter. She went into the forest and saw a large firewood. Niang Ni took the firewood and split it. After it split for a while, it fell into a snake's hole. Niang Ni looked and saw a rattlesnake. So she spoke to the snake to give it to her. The rattlesnake replied, "Yes, if you are my wife, I will let you know. If you are not my wife, I will not let you know." When Niang Ni heard the rattlesnake say that, because she was a wicked woman, she agreed, saying, "Yes, if you let me know, wait until evening, and I will have Master Ed come and call you." The rattlesnake heard Niang Ni say that and let me know. Niang Ni said, "In the evening, and I will have Master Et come and call you." And Niang Ni told the woodcutter to go home with Niang Et. When evening came, the mother sent her son, Et, to call the rattlesnake. Et went and stood at the mouth of the snake's hole, calling, "Rattlesnake, call me!" The rattlesnake heard it and crawled out. When it saw the snake, she was terrified and shivered. But she was afraid of her mother because she had used her. So she tried to control herself and brought the snake home. The snake was very large, crawling on the grass, flattening it all. When she got home, she climbed up and slept with the mother. Niang Ni said to the snake, "I have a husband. Now he has been selling beads for 2 or 3 years at a time." The snake asked, "How many days, how many months will your husband be gone? How many more days will he arrive?" Niang Ni replied, "I don't know. How many months, how many more days will he arrive?" The snake and Niang Ni fell asleep together. It was almost dawn when the snake said goodbye to Niang Ni and went back to the cave. Niang Ni said, "If my husband comes, I will not let me Et call you. You should not come. If my husband does not come, I will use me Et to call you. You should come." The rattlesnake went back to its den. Every evening, Niang Ni used Miet to call the rattlesnake. Niang Et was afraid of her mother and went to call her according to her mother's instructions, but in her heart she was very afraid of the snake, because the snake was very big and long. On the other hand, she was angry in her heart because her mother was jealous of the snake. The woman went to the mouth of the cave and called out, "Oh, rattlesnake, call me." The rattlesnake heard it and crawled out and said, "Oh, rattlesnake, if I don't go, my father will cut off my head." The woman replied, "My father has gone to sell beads and hasn't come back for 2 or 3 years." The rattlesnake, hearing what the woman said, crawled out of the hole and has been coming back and forth ever since. The woman was so fond of the rattlesnake that she was terrified. After a while, the woman's husband came back from selling beads. Seeing that her belly was big, he became suspicious and asked the woman if she was his child. It told her father, "Mom is in love with the rattlesnake, but when it gets dark, she only lets me call it today." Hearing Et's words, her father said to Et, "In the evening, you go call the snake again. I will kill it at the door. Don't let your mother know." Et, when it gets dark, went to call the rattlesnake. "Rattlesnake, let me call you." The rattlesnake heard it and answered, "Et, Eth. If I don't go, my father will cut my throat." Et replied, "My father has been trading beads for 2 or 3 years and hasn't come back yet." The snake, hearing Et's words, thought that her father had not come back from trading beads, so he went as usual. Et's father had a sword hidden at the door, waiting to cut him down. The snake crawled into the door a little. Its father cut off its neck, cut off a piece of its tail, and placed it on a stick, and placed a piece of its head on a bamboo branch. He took the middle of its body and peeled off its skin. He told Et, "Don't let your mother know, but leave the meat for your mother to eat." Et's father washed away all the blood from the snake, leaving no residue. Et didn't know that her husband had killed the snake because she was away at the time, going to ask her relatives at home. In the morning, Et brought the snake meat to be cooked for her mother, Ni, to eat. Ni saw the fat soup on the plate and the pot and asked Et, "What kind of meat did you get, Meat?" Meat said, "Pork meat." Ni, thinking it was pork, gave Meat the soup to eat with rice. When Meat was cooking the soup for Nini to eat, a crow saw the snake's head on a branch of a tree and wanted to eat the snake meat. It said, "Now swallow your husband's flesh." While Nee was eating rice, she heard a crow croaking. She looked up at the branch of the tree and saw the head of a snake curled up on the branch. Nee felt sorry for it and shed tears, but she did not dare to cry because she was afraid of her husband who was sitting and eating rice with her. Her husband saw Nee crying and asked, "Why are you crying?" Nee replied, "Eat hot rice, hot soup, remember your children, and your tears will flow." The crow kept croaking, "Now you snake, you will eat your husband's flesh. Put your head on the tree and your tail on the hook." Nee looked at the snake and saw the tail of a rattlesnake on it. Nee's husband knew that his wife was really in love with a rattlesnake, so he wanted to kill Nee, but he did not let her know. Nee, who was old and about to give birth, invited her husband to wash her hair at the lake. When they reached the lake, he told his wife, "Go away from their country. We will wash our hair and have fun, just the two of us." Nee did not know that her husband had killed her, thinking that he had taken her to wash her hair, so he walked into the forest far away. When he saw a beautiful flat land with good fields, the husband told his wife, "This land is nice and flat. Let's stop and wash our hair there." But Nee, not realizing that he was the one who was planning to kill her, sat down to wash her hair on the bank. The husband then drew his sword and stabbed Nee from behind without her realizing it, cutting off half of her body and killing her. At that moment, he saw all the baby snakes crawling out of Nee's belly. Nee's husband also killed the baby snakes with his sword. Some of them, before they could be killed, crawled into the ground, some of them dived into the water, and some of them went into the forest. Because of this, there are so many different types of snakes today. Mrs. Et said, "Pork meat." Mrs. Nee thought it was pork meat, so she had Mr. Et cook the rice for her mother to eat. When Mrs. Et cooked the rice for Mrs. Nee, a crow saw a snake's head on a branch of a tree. It wanted to eat the snake's meat. It cawed, "Now swallow your husband's meat." Mrs. Nee was eating rice when she heard the crow cawing, so she looked up at the branch of a tree and saw a snake's head hanging on the branch. Mrs. Nee felt sorry for it and shed tears, but she did not dare to cry because she was afraid of her husband, who was sitting and eating rice with her. The husband saw Nee in tears and asked, "Why are you crying?" Nee replied, "Eat hot rice, eat hot soup, remember your children, and wash away your tears." The crow kept on croaking, "Now the crow will devour your husband's flesh. Put its head on the tree and its tail on the sack." Nee looked at the sack and saw the tail of a rattlesnake on it. Nee's husband knew that his wife was really in love with a rattlesnake, and he was angry and wanted to kill Nee, but he did not let Nee know. When Nifum, an old woman, was about to give birth, her husband invited her to wash her hair at the lake. When they reached the lake, he told his wife, "Let's go far away from their country. We will wash our hair and have fun together." Nifum, unaware that her husband had killed her, thought that he had taken her to wash her hair, so she walked far into the forest. When she saw a beautiful flat field with good fields, her husband told his wife, "This field is flat and pleasant. Let's stop washing our hair there." Nifum, unaware that her husband was planning to kill her, sat down to wash her hair on the shore. The husband then drew his sword and stabbed her from behind, unconscious, cutting off half of her body and killing her. At that moment, he saw all the baby snakes crawling out of her belly. Her husband then killed the baby snakes with his sword. Some of them, before they could be killed, crawled into the ground, some dived into the water, and some went into the forest. Because of this, there are many different kinds of snakes today,